Hi, this is Gary. Welcome to Fountain Pen Showdown. Today we're going to be looking at these two pens. The first, this is the Wingsun 3008. The second, the TWSBI Eco. Join me now and we'll look at these two pens in a bit more detail and then play them off against each other. So here we are down at the mat. Let's have a quick look at our two pens. The Wingsun 3008. This one, it cost $2.50 Aussie dollars, and in there I've got Noodler's Heart of Darkness ink. The TWSBI Eco, that cost me $45 Aussie dollars, and in there I've got Van Diemen's Devil's Black ink. Both of these are piston fillers. If we look at the bodies, both of them are just round tubes. They're tubular bodies and they look very similar. The piston caps, yes, we've got a definite difference there. I love the black on the Eco. It's got that little bit of looseness, whereas on the 580, well, that's even more looser before it starts to engage. I'm not going to engage the filling mechanisms because they've already got ink in. Lengthwise, I'm going to fetch in my ruler. So our Wingsun 3008, that measures in at 14.3 centimetres. The TWSBI, that comes in at 13.8, so just that little bit shorter. Uncapped, the 3008, that comes in at 12.9 centimetres. With the Eco, that comes in at just over 13 centimetres. So again, much of the same size. Posted, the 3008 does not post. So you cannot use this one posted. Whereas with the Eco, the cap will just about post. I'm not comfortable using it posted because I think it's very close to gripping that mechanism there. But it will post, and that will give us a length of about 16.8 centimetres. So posted is definitely a lot longer. Weights, so let's see what these come in at. So with the 3008, that comes in at 21 grams. The cap is 7 grams. With the TWSBI, our weight, 22 grams. So again, very much similar weight-wise. And the cap, 9 grams. Now, one thing I will say in terms of ink, there is virtually a full fill on the 3008, whereas on the Eco, there isn't a lot of ink left in there. So that extra ink might account for another 1.5 to 2 grams of weight in the 3008. So the 3008 is definitely a lighter pen. We're going to look at the nibs now. We'll start again with the 3008. So the nib on this, it's really plain. There's not really much in the way of decoration. It looks very square to me. With the TWSBI Eco, we've got some decoration there on the nib. And we've got a little bit more shape to it. Looking at the nibs, I like the nib on this TWSBI Eco. The nib size on the 3008, that's a fine. I believe it's classed as 0.5. I've not been able to find a different nib size for the 3008. With the TWSBI, well, this is an extra fine nib on this one. And in this model, you can go all the way up to a 1.1 stub. So there's a wide variety of nibs available. So we'll move on now. And we're going to look at our writing samples. So the book I'm using is this by Oxford. This uses its own paper called Optic White. It's very fountain pen friendly. It's a B5 size, so it is bigger than the A5, which a lot of other people will use. So let's open this up and get into our writing sample. So here we go, a nice clean page to start. We're going to start with the 3008. So this is a Wingsun 3008 with the fine nib or 0.5 nib, and the ink is Noodler Heart of Darkness. Nice black ink. I like really good black inks. So there's a little bit of wetness, not that much. The other pen then with the Eco. So this is a TWSBI Eco. And this is an extra fine nib. And in here I've got Van Diemen, Devil's Black. Again, another nice black ink. Again, let's check the wetness on this. So again, about the same in terms of wetness, but remember, this is with a extra fine nib. What I'm going to do now is a writing sample with the mic closer to the page so you can actually hear the noise coming off the pens. So the first one, the 3008. And now with the Eco. To me, the Eco is the louder of the two pens when I'm writing. Both write nice, both write well. Definitely the 3008 you can see has got that slightly broader nib. The lines are a little bit wider, but it does the job that it says it's going to do. It works well. Let's have a little bit of a look again at the two pens. What do I like about them? Well, the 3008. It's cheap. To be honest, it's the sort of pen you'd be happy to throw away. With the TWSBI, I think it looks nicer. The 3008, it's got the round cap. This has got more faceted cap. It's got the filling cap here. It's got facets as well. It's got this nice trim with the Eco on there. I think it does look nicer. The clips, the 3008 clip, it looks what it is. It looks cheap. With that TWSBI one, it's got that little bit more elegance. I think it'll look better in your shirt pocket. If we look at the negatives though, well, what do I like? With this 3008, the nib, it feels scratchy to me. Now I've got a number of these and they all feel like that. It feels like it's dragging on the paper. To be honest, it looks cheap. I mean, look at the two. Which do you think looks like it's got with more money? It's definitely that TWSBI. With the TWSBI though, I'm paying $45. I'm getting something that really, it's just like a tube with a nice cap. So there's nothing fancy there that really would attract me to it. So what does that mean? That means if I'm going to give a score for the pen looks, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 for the 3008. And with this TWSBI, I'm going to give that a 6 out of 10. Neither of them really look anything other than what they are. Yes, we've got some different colour choices. There's about 4 different colour choices for the 3008. With the TWSBI Eco, there's a massive array of different colour choices. So there's plenty there to choose from. So you can pick what you want. I mean, I've got this black one. I've also got a green one. I've got an orange one. Writing experience. The 3008, as I say, it drags. I'm really struggling. I'm only going to give that a 5 out of 10. With the Eco, smoother to write with, a little bit noisier, 7 out of 10. The way the ink goes down on the paper, the way the ink flows, well, they're both very much the same, 7 out of 10 for both of them. Then it comes to value for money. $45 for the TWSBI Eco. Yep, it does what it says, it writes, it's a nice pen, it works really well, I've never had a single problem with it. I'm going to say, because of the extra price, that's an 8 out of 10. 3008, $2.50. I mean, you can't go wrong. Value for money, this has got to be up there. It's got to be a 9 out of 10. So what that means is we get a total score for the 3008. That gives me a total score of 6.5. And for the TWSBI, well, that's 7 out of 10. Reasonable scores. My personal thoughts on these though, that 3008, as I said near the start, it's a throwaway pen. You cannot beat it for price. It's the sort of pen you're happy to have in your bag, and if somebody needs a pen, well, you just let them use that and tell them to keep it. You don't really need anything other than the pen and some ink to put in it. I've got 5 of these, and yes, they're not inked up all the time, but it's a good pen to just do a small partial fill so I can try out new inks to see what they're like. The TWSBI, it's a brilliant starter pen. If you're just getting in, I really think this is the pen to be looking at. Yes, I know you've got the Pilot Metropolitans out there, but for the small amount of extra, I would go for the TWSBI. It was actually the second pen that I bought. The first one was a Pilot Metropolitan. I was disappointed with that because I wanted to use bottled ink, but it only came with cartridges, so I had to go and buy additionally the cartridge converter, which brought the price up to roughly the same. I do have a number of these, as I say, and all 3 of these, they're always inked up, and I would say I use most of them at least every other day. Definitely, of the 2, that TWSBI Eco, although it's more money, is the pen that I would choose to win this round. So that's it for the Wingsun 3008 and the TWSBI Eco. In the next video, we're going to be comparing these 2 pens. The green one is the Hongdian 525. The blue one is also Hongdian. It's the Black Forest series and it's the Light of Hope. So join me then to see how these 2 compare and which one will come out the winner.